Welcome to Melissa Honey Speaks, where we chat about feminine magic, mindset, and manifesting. I'm your host, Melissa Honey. Hey honeybees, welcome back to another episode of Melissa Honey Speaks. Let's chat about how we show up in this world and how when we show up a certain way, how we manifest easier or more simpler. So I know I talked briefly on another episode about acting as if. And acting as if is like showing up, acting how you would act if what you had was already here. So when we're making big transformations in our life, whether it be our career, our relationships, or whether it be personal relationships, or like just our friends, our family, any area that we want to make a large change, we have to remember that when we are asking the universe to give us something, so we're asking for more money, a better partner, more peace in our lives, we're asking for less drama, we're asking for these things. So if we're asking for these things and you're seeing that the universe might not be showing up the way you want, it might be taking a long time to show up, or you keep looking and it's just not there, right? So we know that when we ask, it is given, right? We know that when we ask, it is given. And so we think about if we're asking and it's not being given or we're not seeing it, why is that? Is that because we're not in alignment to the things that we're asking for? Maybe we're not ready to have them, or maybe it's just because we aren't showing up as the person who would have access to these things that we're asking for, right? So we're asking for the universe or God or whatever to give us something, right? But we're not acting in faith. We're not saying, okay, well, if I want these things, because we know that when we're manifesting, and I want to take a pause and say, we know that the law of attraction is always working. So we're always manifesting. We're always getting what we are asking for through our actions and our energies, not just what we're asking through with our mouths or what we're saying we want. We're actually asking for what we want through our actions, our intentions, through our energy, through our alignment. A lot of things that we're asking for not just by what we speak. Okay, we can speak things into existence, of course, but if we're not actually aligned with that energetically, we're not going to attract what we want. So getting into alignment is also about how we show up. Showing up as the person we would be if we had that wonderful career. Showing up as the person we would be if we had that wonderful relationship. Showing up as that person we would be if we had that $1 million, or we had that new lifestyle that we're wanting, or we had those new friendships, right? So how does that look for you? Because if we don't show up because sometimes if we're showing up as the person that we want to be or we want to become, or the person who has access to the things that we were asking for, when we show up as that person, the things we want to manifest become easier to get because we are energetically aligned to the things that we want, right? The alignment is so important, because if we're not in alignment, we're basically not in agreement. We're basically in self-doubt, saying, we're not going to manifest this. And if we're manifesting from a place of desperation, a place of self-doubt, we're not going to have access to what we want. It's really just that simple, because we have to be in alignment. The alignment is like the most important thing, the energy, the alignment. So when we show up as the person we want to be in the situation that we're asking for, we are automatically becoming more and more aligned. And maybe you don't know how to show up as that person right away. But with everything, it takes practice. Law of attraction or manifestation is a process, it's a practice. It's a practice that we can get into, whether it takes 3 days to manifest something, or whether it takes 3 months or 3 years, depending on what we want to manifest. We have to line up with that. And the alignment is going into how we show up. So showing up as the woman that you want to be, showing up as the spouse you want to be, showing up as the employee or the business person, the entrepreneur that you want, showing up with that same energy, showing up, how would that person dress? How would they talk? What things would matter the most? Because sometimes when you show up as who you want to be in this, and who you're asking to be, or what you're asking for, when you show up as that person who has that thing, a lot of times there are some aspects of your old self that won't matter anymore. Maybe it won't matter that your house isn't perfectly spotless, right? Because you have a maid or whatever. So you're showing up as this person because some things aren't going to matter as much when you begin to show up as the person who you are asking to be, when you're showing up as the person who is attracting the things you want to attract. Some things aren't going to matter, but then there are other things that are going to matter more. Maybe you have to set better boundaries. Maybe you have to, speak more of who you are, right? Maybe you have to show up as the person who is speaking their mind more. Maybe you have to show up as the person who is saying, I want this in my life and I don't want this, and you're being vocal about it and you're saying these things I don't want anymore and these things I do want. And that's important, because if you start to just say I want these things, I want this new career, but you're not actively looking, you're not actively increasing your skills, or you're not actively researching your business opportunities that you want to take advantage of, right? If you're not doing all those things, how can you be in alignment with what it is that you want? So getting into alignment and acting as if, and showing up as the person that you want to be in the situation that you want to have, in the circumstances that you want to have, you have to understand that there are some things that are going to die off. Some things that are going to be important to you. And once you start letting those things that you don't need anymore, or don't desire anymore, fall away, you're going to open yourself up to be more in alignment. And as you become more into alignment with what you want, you're going to find that what you're asking for is going to show up, because you are walking the path of the person who you want to be. You're walking the path of the person who is receiving the things that they're asking for. And that's important, because if you're not, because that brings us back to alignment. And how do we manifest? We manifest through our alignment. We manifest through our intentions. We manifest through our energies, not just speaking, but it's also about the energy that we have when we're speaking. Are we speaking from a place of, I am the business person that I said I was going to be? I am the $1 million earner that I said I would be. I am this career person. I do have a career. Are you showing up as that? And you have to show up as that, even if it's just in your imagination, even if it's just like, okay, well, I'm going to dress like the person who is the amazing mom, or the amazing entrepreneur, or the amazing whatever it is that you want to be. You have to show up as that. Are you showing up as that person every single day in that energy? Are you thinking about how would that person react to this situation? If you have maybe you have a situation that you're in, or a circumstance that you're in, or a problem you have to solve. It's like, okay, how would this new person relate to this situation? How would the person who has this new career, how would she show up? How would she react to this situation? How would this, if I want to be a 6-figure monthly earner, right? How would the 6-figure monthly earner deal with this certain problem? How would the mom who I want to be deal with this situation? How would that look for you? And when you start doing that, you become the person. And when you become that person, your manifestations just take on a whole new level, because now you're getting into, I am the person who I want to be. I am, because we know that when we ask, it is given. So if it's given, you have to start becoming that person. You have to start acting as if you are that person, acting as if you have that lifestyle that you're looking to have. Because when you don't, you're just going to keep manifesting the same old things over and over again, because you're not changing who you are. You're not changing your energy. You're not changing your alignment. So if you're not changing those things, you're definitely not going to change your attraction. So in order to change what you're attracting, you have to change how you show up in this life, and becoming, and even acting as if that thing you have, the thing you're asking for, is already here. Because we know, like I said, when we ask, we know it is given immediately. Now, when it shows up, we don't know. However, we do know that we have to show up as the person, because we have to live by faith, the faith of I know, I believe, not even just I believe, but I know that what I'm asking for is already here. We have to live, we have to go from belief to knowing, where we know what we want is already here. So to end, I want to say, understand that we know that the law of attraction is always working. We know that what we ask for is already given. So in order to have what we're asking for, we have to be in alignment. Alignment means that we have to start showing up as that person. We have to start looking at our lives and saying, what would this new me not deal with? What would fall away? What would have to fall away for me to be the person I want to be? And what do I need to do now to be the person I want to be? And that's how we're going to manifest what we want, by actually showing up as that person as much as we can every single day, so we can attract all of our desires. Thanks for watching.
Thank you for listening to my podcast. Be sure to follow Melissa Honey Speaks on Spotify, Apple, Google, iHeart, Deezer, and you can also catch me on YouTube.